All right, for page 17, label your page forms of a quadratic function. So we've talked about the three forms. We graphed in them. They were the vertex form, the standard form, and the intercept form. So now we want to be able to go from one form to the other and convert between them. So the first one we're going to start with, it says to change from vertex or intercept form to standard form, you're going to FOIL. So I've got two examples for us. The first one says y is equal to 3 parentheses x minus 1 squared plus 8. Well, as it is written right now, we can't FOIL just yet. So what we're going to do is we're going to rewrite the x minus 1 twice, because that's what the square means. And so I'm going to expand it first. So that's 3 parentheses x minus 1 parentheses x minus 1 plus 8. From here, I'm just going to FOIL first, outer, inner, last. And when I do that, you end up with this. And then we're going to distribute from here. And once we distribute, you collect your like terms, and this is going to be your standard form. So we just went from vertex form to standard form by simply FOILing. For the next example, we've got y is equal to negative parentheses x plus 2 parentheses x minus 4. This is actually going to be your intercept form now. Same thing's true. You can go ahead and FOIL. You can go ahead and take this negative here and distribute it to the x plus 2 inside the parenthesis if you like. You could distribute it to the x minus 4 parenthesis if you like, and then FOIL. Or you can just leave it till the end. The only thing you cannot do is distribute it to both of them. The negative would have to go to the first parenthesis or the second, but it can't go to both. If you look back at the first example, that 3 there, because of PEMDAS, we would have had to do the exponent first by rewriting it in its two terms and then FOILing it out using multiplication. We were not allowed to distribute that 3 in immediately. You cannot put the 3 inside because PEMDAS says that exponents have to come first. So if you were to multiply 3x minus 3 in there and then FOIL it, you would get the wrong answer. But for this one, we can put the negative either in the first parenthesis or the second. I went ahead and distributed first. It really doesn't matter which one of these you do. So I distributed using FOIL. Once I do that, I'm going to multiply everything by the negative 1. And so now I went from intercept form to standard form. Okay. Next, we're going to look at going from standard form, the ax squared plus bx plus c, to intercept form. And then to do this, you're going to factor. You've had some practice with factoring now, so you should be getting better. But if not, you can go to page 13 of your interactive notebook to look through the different techniques there if you like. Again, I've got two examples, actually technically 3 this time. So we'll look at these two examples first. Oops, sorry. And so we're going to start with standard form. This first example on the left-hand side, we're going to start with y is equal to 2x squared minus 4x minus 6. If you remember, you always take out a GCF first. Guys, you've got to do that first. It makes things so much easier when you do that. So the GCF in this case is going to be 2. So when I go to take that out, it's going to be 2 parentheses x squared minus 2x minus 3. At this point, depending on if you use the A times C method or the tic-tac-toe method or the cross method, whatever one that you use, you're going to go ahead and factor. I use the unfoil method where I just go backwards. When I do, pause the video at this point, see if you can do it on your own first before looking at my answer. When I go to do that, I end up with 2 parentheses x minus 3 x plus 1. Notice I left the 2 on the outside even though I've already taken it out. It still has to remain in my final answer at the very end. Now, for example 2, you can go ahead and start immediately trying to factor. There is no GCF here. So whether you use the A times C method or whatever method you use, go ahead and pause the video now and try factoring this for me, please. When you do that, I use unfoil. When I do that, I'm going to get y is equal to 5x plus 4 in parentheses, and then x minus 1. So at this point, you'll notice that it's still a little bit different from intercept form. Intercept form actually has the a in front of all of the parentheses. And so the a in this case was 5. So this 5 inside this parenthesis actually needs to be on the outside so that I have a parenthesis x minus p parenthesis x minus q. So what I'm going to do, I know it's not a GCF, but I can take out a 5 by moving it out to the front. When I do that, you would divide on the inside here with the 5x plus 4, you would divide this by 4/5. And so this would be 5 parenthesis x plus 4/5 parenthesis x minus 1. Notice if I were to distribute this 5 back into this first parenthesis, I'd get 5 times x, which is 5x, and 5 times 4/5, which is 4, which is the same parentheses that I had in the beginning. So this is a valid way to write intercept form. And so now we just went from standard form to intercept form. One more example. I've got negative parenthesis, y is equal to negative x squared plus 5x plus 36. You don't have to do this. You could go straight to factoring right away, either A times C method or whatever you use. But what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take out a GCF of -1 first. Again, you don't have to do that if you don't want to, but I'm going to do so. Now when I do that, I end up with y is equal to -1 parenthesis x squared minus 5x minus 36. Now I can go ahead and unfoil, and it looks like this when I do that. So this is my final answer. And finally, the last form, in order to go from standard form to vertex form, we would actually complete the square. We haven't learned how to do that just yet, so that's going to be on page 24 of our interactive notebook. So we'll go ahead and stop here for now until we learn that.